Good afternoon, Pueblo, and welcome to January 2026. This is State of Art. I am Bree Pappan, and we have some fantastic guests in the studio today. I am very excited to talk with artists, city official or city individuals that work with the city. I am joined by Tom Carrigan, Tia Monson, and Donielle Kitzman. I am excited to start this conversation today because we are moving into 2026 and I'm looking at the state of art and culture in Pueblo in 2026. I wanted to just start off with talking a little bit about a lot of the things that have been going on in Pueblo in terms of public artworks and visibility for the city of Pueblo. Tia, I'd love to start with you. You had a wonderful 2025. You created some fantastic public artwork downtown by the convention center, over by the El Pueblo History Museum, and in the creative corridor area. Can you tell me about how those projects came about and what your inspiration was behind the subject matter that you portrayed on the sidewalks and also in Bessemer in the south side? You had several projects in the city and all fantastic, great visibility. Can you tell me a little bit more about those?
Yeah, I did one of the murals on the slabs. That one was a call for artists with the Colorado Lottery.
Yes.
And
I forgot about that one. Sorry, as well. That was for
that one, the inspiration, I just wanted to keep it light and bright and just colorful that people could play on and can relate to a basketball player. The sidewalk project was a project through Public Works, and that one was put on the procurement site as a bid opportunity, and I applied for it, put a bid in, and got it. That was a big project. It was fun. Beautiful project.
Yeah, and I worked in that area, so it was wonderful for me to drive by, walk by, and see your progress each day. Same for the sidewalk by the El Pueblo, on the El Pueblo block. So that was wonderful. And can you tell me a little bit more about the El Pueblo Museum block?
Yeah, that one is right by the ice arena. So there's ice skaters, and that transitions into, I think, a Colorado flag and butterflies. And then there's a lot of chili peppers, of course, and all kinds of different Pueblo.
And so other people would know your name as well as a diverse contributor to the Pueblo Levee mural paintings as well. Can you tell me how you got involved in that originally and some of the different ideas that you had brought to the collective mural paintings of the levee?
I saw on a field trip in second grade the duck in the bathtub mural, and I was like, I want to do that someday. Like, I don't know how to be a part of that, but I want to do that. And then they tore down the wall. Then when they rebuilt it, I found out they were taking applications for muralists. So I applied to that and did my first one out there. That was the peacock. I have 8 plus the 8 drop mini murals out there now.
So I would pinpoint you as the most prolific and widely sought after muralist painter for the levee, most definitely. I had no idea you had 38. That's incredible. Any plans for another mural on the levee?
I just applied 2 more this month.
Okay, so great.
Those get approved.
And yeah, Donielle, say that.
Listen, I have an idea for a mural for you already.
I see a collaboration. Tom Carrigan, welcome back to the studio. This is your second trip here. Nice to see you. As a member of Steel City Artworks, artist, and community advocate, I'd really like to hear about what you think the arts and the cultural climate going into 2026 is. As a member of a downtown gallery, as an individual artist, and as someone who is part of the creative consortium and who works very hard on creative visibility for artists, both you and Tia as well. I would really like to hear some thoughts about where you feel the art and cultural climate is going in 26. That may be a loaded question, but I would like to hear your thoughts.
Thank you. It's going to be crazy. I think because of the whole Leonardo da Vinci Museum that's coming in here, that's going to give us visibility like this place has never seen except for the gold rush. Yeah. How does that sound? I mean, it's going to be a boom town, I think. I think also like at our gallery at Steel City Artworks, we've been trying to do more work with, do shows that have a little bit more theme concerning Pueblo history, Pueblo future as well. We're getting to see some really good artists in the gallery who are coming in with ideas and with, like one artist, she does a lot of things that are photographs. But she overlays an old photograph with a new piece, and a lot of them from the old photographs from the flood back in 21, and then showing everything, what's happened then on top of that and kind of in piece together like that. So we're looking at a lot of that kind of stuff, I think, here in town. What we're excited to see is people are taking more interest in the history of Pueblo, because it's so vibrant and it's a strong history, and it's a lot about not just Pueblo, but it's also about the whole southern Colorado region as well, with all the diversity that we have here. So I think for us as artists, we get to tie into that with some of the things that we do as art to show, or I guess, our own feeling about what it is, our own expression of what it means to be here in Pueblo, to be a native of Pueblo, to be someone like me who came in 11 years ago and has been welcomed with open arms. So I think we're going to see a good boomtown almost reaction, especially with the new museum and gallery that's coming in. I think it's going to...
Maybe a renaissance of sorts.
It could be a very big one. And I think for the art galleries in town, especially it's at one end of the Union Avenue, and we've got a whole lot of different things going on in the whole creative corridor, not just along Union Avenue, but the whole corridor, that I think we've got an awful lot of good, fun stuff to look forward to.
Now, Steel City Artworks is celebrating 1 year this month in their new space, which is the McLaughlin Building. Is that correct?
Yes.
And but Steel City Artworks has a long-standing tradition as a independent gallery on Union Avenue. Can you remind me how many years they've actually been in business?
Steel City has actually been around for 18, I think it is now, 17 or 18. This is our third location.
Okay.
At this time. We're real excited because we keep getting to expand and grow. We lost some artists when we made the move. We've also brought some brand new artists in who are bringing their own new style into what we're seeing there. We've got a brand new husband and wife team. They're coming with pottery.
Wonderful.
So it's a whole different concept of pottery than we've seen before. So we're really good with that. We've got an artist that was there once before, a long time ago. She's now come back in as well. I've met her once. She looks like she's part of one of her paintings. She's very extraordinary. That's all I can tell you. She is very colorful as far as when she paints. It's very dynamite. It's very striking when you see what she paints. So it's a lot of fun just to stop and look at her artwork. It's like, wow, where was she at?
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, that brings up an interesting point in terms of how, I came and moved to Pueblo in 2018. I had already lived in southern Colorado. I lived in Trinidad. We moved to Colorado, the state of Colorado, in 2012. We chose Pueblo because in Trinidad is it's a noteworthy community, but it's a very small one. So a lot of times we come to Pueblo because to shop, to do the things. Now I know Puebloans are getting access to a lot of new businesses and such. And among those, I just really see the growth of artists, the group of artists, the growth of the amount of artists that are here, being part of the consortium, Tia and Tom. I'm sure. Do you have an idea of how many artists are actually in Pueblo in terms of, I feel like the consortium runs an artist list or a registry. Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure about the exact number, but I do know it's definitely growing. I think there's going to be more collaborations, and I think a lot more working together in positivity this upcoming year. I think a lot of positive things are going to be happening with artists in this town. And the positivity, I think, is going to bring even more artists to want to work with other people. And
right.
I think this is going to be a good year.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. That's kind of the direction that I was going in terms of artists coming to Pueblo because they see things are happening for artists, for the artist community, and therefore that makes the artists, cultural happenings, commodities for the city of Pueblo, I feel. And so, Donielle, I would like to move it to you now in terms of tourism visibility. And Donielle Kitzman is the VP of the Chamber and for Visit Pueblo. And so moving into 26 and having all of these wonderful things that are going to be happening in the springtime or the first or second quarter of the year, looking at artists, cultural happenings, development of cultural organizations and new things opening as commodities for the city. Those commodities I feel are directly tied to the visibility factor and the ability to bring tourism here, to increase tourism. So with all of those things in mind, what are some of the directions that the Chamber and Visit Pueblo are taking for bringing visibility to those assets?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it is a great time. I think having sometimes a catalyst like Da Vinci, for instance, as Tom referenced, is a good opportunity to kind of re-engage because, the buzz is what's new, what's new and unique in Pueblo. We know that we've got a lot of long-standing amazing galleries and assets like the murals and Neon Alley, and the list goes on. But anytime we can have some catalyst that brings re-engagement or new attention to Pueblo, that certainly helps. And then we can use that to now repeat and showcase all of the things that we still know are great that most people, may have not seen or seen for a while. And really it's about telling that entire story and showcasing Pueblo as an artistic and cultural identity. It's tough. It's tough for us because we have to tell the story about Pueblo all encompassing, right? And so
Sure.
Whatever brings people here, and we have to talk in very generalized terms most of the time, based on the amount of work that we have funding to do. So of course money talks,
Of course.
And so, doing as much as we can with the budget that we have to promote tourism. We strive to tell the general story, focus on some key assets that make it unique, and then really try to point people to bring them in to explore more, whatever their interest level is. But using outdoor rec, for instance, we know that people will come and they'll bike, but they're going to eat and they're going to shop and they have other interests. They might be outdoor enthusiasts, but they do have other interests. Same with artists. They have other interests as well. So it's how we tell the story in a general tone that says we really need to check Pueblo out. It sounds like they've got everything.
Of course. And do you project that moving into 2026 and beyond, that Visit Pueblo or the Chamber may be seeking out relationships with artists or cultural individuals that would be cultural contributors to the city of Pueblo? Do you feel that relationships would be increasing with those individuals?
Well, I would like to say, we are always seeking out collaboration. We are in the room in a lot of these meetings. You referenced the consortium. We are in the room in those meetings, making sure that we are tapped into what's happening and how we can support the artistic community, tell the story correctly, bring resources and ideas to them for funding, for business models, training, any of those types of things, which are a huge asset. I mean, it's really about how can we all come together and tackle this in our varying levels of knowledge and time and funding. So the consortium's doing great work, but they are a group of enthusiastic volunteers. They don't have a
Sure.
separate funding model that's paying an administrator to keep them organized and to apply for grants and to keep them, going in that organized fashion. But they're doing an amazing job. So we feel, the biggest thing we can do to support that is be in the room and provide any type of resources and help from that administrative kind of side. But we have also been fortunate enough to hire artists ourselves for specific projects or conferences or events. I hired Tia actually to do some things for us in conjunction with the Colorado State Fair a couple years in a row, and a handful of others. Conferences and events for us is where the biggest impact to Pueblo is. So from the Visit Pueblo tourism budget, we have to prioritize selling Pueblo as an event and conference destination. And so our just generalized marketing for things and advertising is less.
Sure.
Because we, again, are prioritizing to make the biggest bang for our buck and bring people to Pueblo who then will hopefully shop and perpetuate lodging tax and sales tax, to continue to pay for services. But so in that, we have an opportunity, even in that conference and event space, to we regularly promote Pueblo as an artistic destination. And so when we are selling Pueblo to a conference group, we're saying, here's some other segments and components that if you have downtime, do a pre-conference tour or a post-conference tour. We're trying to get people to come early and explore, stay late and explore. So that's part of our regular sales tactic with those types of groups, and certainly using arts is an easy one because we do have some unique attractions that are centered in downtown, the murals, the neon alley, the galleries. So it's an easy sell for us.
That's fantastic. I really see the opportunities for artists coming up more often in 26 and 27. If not a relationship with the city, then the city offering opportunities for artists in terms of access to those learning possibilities, in terms of grant writing, in terms of visibility for artists. So, Tia, I have a question for you. As you move into 26 as an artist, multimedia muralist, what types of things do you hope to see for artists that that you are part of with the consortium, for example, or shows that are coming up? What are the things that you hope to see in terms of a collaborative effort by artists, whether it be other artists lifting each other up, other artists giving each other visibility, not less of a competitive component, but more of a uplifting and collaborative component?
I hope to see like the positivity and working with other artists and just like you said, lifting each other up. That's going to make it seem less threatening to people wanting to get into art or the art world. It's going to seem like, hey, I could be a part of that. There's an openness to a lot of the artists now that could make a big difference in more collaborative projects happening. I think the mindset changing in the art scene is definitely going to make some big changes in the next couple of years.
Wonderful.
We're trying to have less competition and not the cutthroat, mean thing that artists tend to do sometimes.
Yeah.
If you take that away, there's going to be a lot more things happening.
Right. And I think that if there are more opportunities for artists, it's not just 40 people vying for one grant to paint this public piece or a mural or whatever, but empowering artists to seek out opportunities for themselves. And this is definitely something that's across the board in the things that I've been looking at and talking about, not just in the arts or for individual artists, but for the community as well, in terms of empowerment for themselves, in terms of information, learning about resources either through that the city offers or different entities in the city, different nonprofits in the city, for like United Way, for example. And I think the knowledge and the information that can be gained from that by individuals is something that is very empowering. So I think you're right that the more opportunities there are, the more collaboration there will be. So I think, I really hope that's very true. Tom, I have the same question for you in terms of what do you hope to see for artists in terms of opportunities, in terms of collaborations, in terms of things going forward into 26 with some of these new things that are going to be opening, whether it be gallery opportunities, whether it be visibility opportunities for new artists, or new artists that want to move to Pueblo.
You know, I've had the privilege on about 3 different occasions to help work on building and fence murals here in town, mostly on the east side, where we're trying to lift up communities themselves by putting something in. One of them that we did at Mitchell Park even, we actually had all of the neighbors come in with pictures as far back as they wanted to go, and then the lead artist that was working on that put everything together, and it was almost a timeline.
Was that Eric Saraceno?
Yes, exactly. And it was a timeline from Pueblo still as the old fort here, all the way up to the current, and seeing the different pictures, the way the different sections panned out, you might say. And these are from pictures that the neighborhood residents come in. So they are actually now a part of that particular park over there. We've done it with some things as well out in, I still call it Dog Patch. Sorry. That's what I call it. And we did the La Gente building out there, where we did a big mural on that as well. And that was actually Matt Taylor that did that one. And we had a blast, and I got to work with him, and I'll tell you, that was one crazy time. How can we keep doing?
Tia's chuckling as well.
How can we try to keep doing those kinds of things here in town? I know some of the murals that were on the downtown, some of the downtown buildings were taken down or taken off or painted over. I disagreed with those things happening. How do we put some of that stuff back in where we're utilizing the kind of power that we have and the emotion, the creativity of the local artists here to make that one side of a building shine as a tourist stop even.
Right.
What's the history behind that? How come that is there? Get people answering or asking questions so they go into these different places. I know at our gallery, Still City Artworks, we've got something like 40 different artists there.
Right.
We have a lot of different things, but they're also in different locations and not just in our gallery. How do we use the different artists and the different things to create their theme on a particular project for the city or for a community that maybe somebody else isn't going to get to do? And I'd like to see more of that moving forward. And I think there's a great opportunity for us to do that if the businesses maybe themselves want to step up, not necessarily the city itself or the county, but the businesses want to step up and say, I'll pay you this to do this. These are my ideas, where the artist gets to work with that business to create something for that business on that wall.
A lot of that was happening in 25. So Shannon Palmer, who is another muralist, multimedia artist, contributed work to some of the businesses on Union. Matt Reffick, who is, muralist extraordinaire. He's an amazing artist. He's just, he also did that with businesses specifically on Northern Avenue and that small area that is just before the bridge. The Solano Wellness Center opened, and he painted a mural on the side of that. And it's a lot of things like that are happening exactly as you just explained in terms of artists collaborating with individual businesses. And I think the more that happens, that's like just the core of collaboration, a business seeking out an artist and not only creating a feeling and an image for that particular business, but visibility for the artist. And that is just at the grass soul roots of that type of partnership. And I agree that if we have more of that in the city or with businesses, we'll just start with individual business owners. That really is just that catalyst of forging that relationship. And but in terms of, I want to take a quick break to just do a sponsorship message, but I want to talk a little bit about, when we get back, accessibility for our community and for our citizens. So we'll just take a quick break. We're going to pause and we'll come right back.
Homeownership is possible with a trusted partner.
It brings us a lot of joy to be able to say that this house is our own and that we've poured our hearts into making it our own.
Alyssa and Ryan are among the more than 155,000 people Chaffa has helped become homeowners since 1974. It starts with homebuyer education and connecting you with a statewide network of participating lenders. Get started at chfainfo.com/yourhome. Chaffa is an equal housing lender.
Okay, we're back, and I am in the studio with Donielle Kitzman, the VP of the Chamber and Visit Pueblo, Tia Monson, multimedia artist and muralist, and Tom Carrigan, artist and Steel City Artworks art member and community advocate. I want to thank you all again for being here with me today in the studio and having this wonderful conversation about where the arts are going in 2026 in the city of Pueblo. I really would like to talk about, this is something that maybe Donielle would be excellent to speak about, is how we can increase accessibility to the arts for our community, not just in public arts, but in terms of artist experience, in whether you're visiting Pueblo, whether you live here already, opportunities that may increase the notion of bringing accessibility to the arts or culture or the downtown or experiences for residents, for people that are coming through Pueblo, passing through Pueblo, maybe they're staying here overnight one night, but just to have creating memorable experiences.
Yeah, I think it's a big question with probably lots of components, because when you've used the word accessible and you've used the word increasing access or increasing awareness. Increasing awareness, is two-pronged for us from the tourism promotion side. It is trying to remind residents themselves to explore their own backyard, to be proud of the assets and attributes that Pueblo has, to explore them, talk positively about them, and share those messages themselves. We have, all of us, a responsibility for that. And I can't do it. The chamber can't do it. The Latino chamber can't do it. We can't all do it in a bubble. So increasing awareness from a local standpoint starts with, that ownership. I think the second thing that I've seen and I'm excited for when you talk about 2026 and beyond is the effectiveness we've seen with the Creative Consortium, with the Art Alliance, the collaboration of the artists in the room together and the networking of artists is probably the biggest thing to tackle. Again, I'm not the expert, so people will come and say, what are you doing to promote art for Pueblo? I have to dissect that in a lot of ways.
It's a great question. No.
Yeah. But the artists themselves have to have a cohesive offering. And there's a lot of, it's not a secret that there's been a lot of fracture in that community for years. So seeing the collaboration that's happened in recent years, I think has been extremely helpful. We were able, because of that collaboration, we wrote a bid and we're able to host the creative corridor, creative, I knew it, Colorado Creative Industries. Thank you.
Yeah, and
CCI conference.
we were the Pueblo was the host last year.
So Visit Pueblo wrote that bid in partnership with some partners, and we were able to get that bid. And then seeing the work that came out of that, seeing the artists receive resources and training and ideas, and really network with each other, probably was the best thing outcome of that particular event. And so it helped us tell the story and elevate arts, in a way that just as positive. Increasing accessibility is an interesting comment. I think, again, you could chunk that up into a lot of different segments, but one I'll talk briefly about that Visit Pueblo undertook recently in the last 2 years. We wrote a grant to the Colorado Tourism Office and received it for basically accessible travel, which means for people with disabilities of any type and kind. So we were able to receive that grant, which included a $10,000 in-kind marketing opportunity within it. We worked with 22 organizations and attractions in Pueblo to have them achieve destination verified status, saying that they were an accessible destination, whether that be visually impaired, hearing impaired, mobility impaired. So they went through a kind of a checkup, if you will, and we paid for that assessment out of that grant. And then the business was destination verified, and they are now on a website that promotes Pueblo to a whole nother demographic and traveler segment. that we weren't able to pay for ourselves before without the grant. So being able to be marketed to another segment of population that is looking for things to do that particularly can be accessible for them is very helpful. So we're always looking for ways that we can increase our offering, increase awareness of Pueblo as a destination on the whole. And then when there's an opportunity to focus specifically on a segment like the arts in particular, certainly we're always looking for those opportunities, whether it's arts or outdoor rec or history and culture. There's everyone's got their forte, but our mission very generally has to start with Pueblo as a city, as a destination, generally speaking, and then work with our industry segmented partners like the arts, like outdoor rec, like history segments, to then help them market themselves as best as they can. So when the traveler comes to the destination, they know how to find what they're looking for and, know what the opportunities are.
Fantastic. Yes, Tom.
One thing to tie in as well with this is when we're doing our First Fridays Art Walk each month, we also have the Van Gogh Van. Now, when you're talking about accessibility, this is a great tool for the local residents or for someone in a hotel that's here for the weekend or whatever to use to go around to the different galleries throughout this whole city, to be able to look at a lot of this stuff, to stop at the Riverwalk and take a walk while you're down there. You can go up and down.
Maybe not today, but
this is just, it's an amazing tool that we keep forgetting about. We don't talk about it enough, I think, for the First Fridays, and it's so easy to use, and it gives you plenty of time to stop wherever you want to stop if you want to get off the bus and look at that place. Just a big thing we keep forgetting about it. It's a great tool.
And the Senior Resource Development Association is the route of where that bus is coming from, and they are the partners that offer the bus. And I think that is an amazing organization. And they have been in partnership with the consortium and the Arts Alliance that does the van for a couple years now. And I know that there is a designated route for First Fridays, and I guess they start at one destination and end at Blowback, which is in the Grove. That's just the most incredible opportunity for people to be able to go to all the gallery spaces instead of trying to drive a car or parking or anything like that situation, especially in the height of tourism times. One last question I want to pose to all of you. In terms of visibility for artists, now, Tia, you touched on a little bit, accessing opportunities in terms of as a communal opportunity rather than a competitive opportunity. Moving into 26 and 27, how do you feel about collaborations between artists and the city, or artists and municipal organizations?
I think it's super important to have those relationships. Like our last consortium meeting, Kara came and she gave us like information, and we worked together about talking about lists of how to access, artist lists and things like that. And her perspective on just some of the way things are run there, and it helps to know how those things go. That way we know what we can contribute and how they can help. And working with the city, same thing, having those relationships, like get to know different people, and that gives you more of an opportunity to know who to call to ask different things. Or I'm actually working on a map of art site locations that has like little key spots where you can go. People can look to see where like different things are, like, things they could go. Galleries is on there, just different sites. That way they have like a list that they can, things to do, but art related.
Do you feel, can you maybe picture that in having accessibility within the hotels or the places that people stay here in Pueblo?
That's kind of where it's going to probably end up being, is with like the flyers and stuff that you see at the hotel.
I think so knowing about some of those things are being created in an industry segment like the arts, for instance. For us as Visit Pueblo is super important. We actually work with and manage the Lodging Association, for example. We manage visitpueblo.org, which is should be the focus for all of us to look at. How is visitpueblo.org telling that industry segment story, whether it's arts or outdoor rec or whatever. So making sure that the arts community is reviewing that website, that it's telling the generalized story. It's not meant to be all-inclusive and tell everyone's story to detail. It's a driver for a high-level driver for people, tourists particularly, to know what Pueblo offers. And then we have the visitor guide, which is online and in print that we distribute throughout the state. It goes in every conference and event bag that we prepare for conference attendees, and again is sent out digitally. And we have a contract that we pay people to distribute that through the state. So what the visitor guide portrays inside of it related to the arts industry is critical, right? That it's representing the industry correctly and the offerings. And that's why being in the room together, the why we attend, and she referenced Kara, who is our tourism director for Visit Pueblo, attends the consortium meetings. I have myself as well. But we also have to have more probably representation from the consortium at the Destination Pueblo meetings, which is our tourism advisory council. And members of the consortium do attend. And so, it's a lot, to make those a priority. But if we're not in the room and talking, a lot of times what I've seen in my work, whether it's arts or anything else, is that there sometimes can be an assumption by a small group of people that nothing's being done in a circle or segment. And they don't ask enough questions or vet it out before they start tackling something that already has traction or has already been completed or vetted or in process for that matter. So us being in the room and talking to each other regularly and being partners in it makes a lot of sense.
I think that levels up the intimidation factor as well. If you're an artist and you're like, I really want to have an idea to go to the Pueblo, city of Pueblo or something, it would break down that, you have familiarity with the people that you're going to be directly contacted with, or the people that you would be needing to have a direct line with, and it breaks down that intimidation level so that there is that accessibility, there is that communication, there is that partnership that is a potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing to mention before I forget that I think happened in the last Creative Consortium meeting with Kara there, we have been sharing this year, particularly for 2026, is our America 250, Colorado 150, the semi-quin centennial. There's Sesqui semi-quin centennial.
Sesquicentennial.
Sesqui semi-quin centennial.
6 times.
That's right. Don't say that after a cocktail. But so we were able to share with with the consortium in particular and all of our Destination Pueblo advisory group. So it's applicable to all segments of tourism currently and to the city of Pueblo. What are we doing to celebrate that? And there's this, there's a lot of state eyes and resources being thrown at this campaign and promotion. So how do we capitalize on that as a community? And then whatever you are in your industry segment, whether it's arts or history or whatever. So we are working on that monthly in those rooms, and there are resources like free calendars, and there are other grant opportunities through the 250, 150 for projects and things like that. So, we see ourselves again as that resource to make sure that all of our tourism partners are connected and educated in, what is out there currently for them to use.
Excellent. So this would be the time now to shout out Tom, Tia, or Donielle. Shout out something that you feel that you want to bring visibility to, whether it's something you're involved in. So take a moment to give a shout out. Tia, you go ahead. So Steel City is celebrating their 1-year anniversary in their new location. So what are some of the things happening at Steel City this month?
We just had a really big fun time this last first Friday here for January. We had a great group that came in. We had a lot of people, for one, that's coming down and looking at what we have as the B Street or B Street Crossing, which is B Street and Union right there, that were asking us all kinds of questions about us and about the gallery and the history and where we came from. And I haven't been to the new gallery. We're going to see a lot of new things that are going on at the gallery as far as new, I think, new ideas from artists that are going to be looking at some of the history of Pueblo as well. I think it's going to be the one really exciting things that we're going to see a lot of. And for me, that's okay. I'm an old person, and so I know a lot of history.
Tia?
It's not really art related so much, but Runyon Lake. I'm an artist, but I also maintain the area around Runyon Lake. I pick up trash and make sure there's no graffiti. The Conservancy owns that area out there, and a lot of people have a bad take on Runyon Lake. They've got it in their head from years ago that it's like got trash or people hanging out down there, but it's not. We've put a lot of work the last 3 years into the lake out there.
I agree. I live near there, and I walk there often, and they have there's a beautiful path. It is a breathtaking space to go. I mean, I call it the Japanese footbridge, but it's really not that. But it has, it has a beautiful bridge. It's connected to the levee. I mean, on a good day, I start at the Runyon Lake because I just live up the road. I live in Isler Heights, Beaujontown, so I can sometimes walk down the street, walk down the hill, go to Runyon Lake, walk around there, and then connect to the levee walk. And it's an amazing walk. In an hour, you can see some insane stuff. I mean, the very oldest parts of the levee where they have painstakingly worked to maintain the older paintings, and it moves right into the newer work. I mean, I've seen several of your pieces down at I guess it's called the southern end. Is it the southern end? I thank you so much for your work there.
We've got it's beautiful. Tables out there now, new ones.
Yeah.
There's the path goes completely around, and it, like you said, loops back to the levee. So you could go from Pueblo West to the levee on that path, like on a bike or walking. I just don't think enough people realize it's a regularly stocked lake with fish, so it's great fishing. There's people ice fishing out there. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there will be this weekend. It's a regular thing. Ice fish, but it happens. But
walking out on the ice and attempting to fish,
it's not just carp and stuff in that lake. There, it's stocked with trout, so it's good fishing. And I just don't think people realize that that's an overlooked spot that's super close, like almost in the middle of town, right there to go to. And if you have a bad point of view on it, give it another chance because it's a lot different now.
Yeah. I agree. It's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful space. Donielle?
Those are some hard ones to beat. Thanks for your work at Runyon. That's awesome. I think for right now, the campaign for Visit Pueblo that we're working on is Restaurant Month. So last year we kicked off an inaugural collaboration with the Riverwalk for Restaurant Week, and it's a bingo card that you can pick up at the chamber office, and we challenge all of our locals to go out and just eat out and enjoy some of the restaurants, maybe your favorites and some that you haven't been to in a long time. And historically, restaurants are down during the first quarter of the year, and so it was an opportunity to figure out how can we drive revenue and some economic impact for our restaurants. So last year went phenomenal. We had amazing response. People really took to it and probably gained some calories. But it was really hard to manage in 1 week. And people, that was the response we got back, was that it was hard for them to really get after the bingo card within a week. And so we extended it to a month this year, and so that'll happen here in February. Right now, we're bringing on restaurants. So if you have a favorite restaurant or you are a restaurant owner, please reach out to us. It's limited to 36 spots on the bingo card, first come, first serve. Their buy-in, all it costs them is $25 gift card to participate, and they get a ton of free marketing and publicity for the month through Visit Pueblo. And we do advertising reels with them and a lot of engagement for that. And then people start eating out and filling out that bingo card, and they drop it off to us when they get one line completed. We had a couple last year that were full blackout, which was crazy. And we do a drawing from all of those completed cards, and the one lucky winner gets all of those restaurant gift cards and some cash to keep eating.
That's a good incentive. That's a very good incentive.
Yeah. So look for that.
One more thing that the consortium put out there in October, was it October? Yeah, that we did the art drop.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
We're doing that again in April. It's kind of like, not like the Pepper Rock hunt, but similar how it's like a scavenger hunt in a way, only it's just one clue for whatever item.
I love seeing the posts each day of
Yeah.
like where artists would be dropping their work
Any
in
artist can
various
participate.
places, as well as people finding the things in
Yeah.
all over different parks. Runyon Lake was one of them. I think the convention center was one. They were all over town.
Yeah. Like the way it works is artists make a piece of art. They go onto the Art Drop site and they post, this is my art. It's over here. And first person to go get it goes and gets it, can either take pictures, post with it, put it back for someone else to find, or they can keep it. And that's going to be happening in April again.
Great time. I think that's a fantastic opportunity for artist participation. The more artists, I would expect that there would be an even larger group of participating artists and or people that participate in the scavenger hunt aspect of it.
It started out a week long, but more people at the end of it were starting to get involved that we extended it to the whole month. And I think it's going to be pretty.
That's great. And that's just an example, a very small grassroots example begun in the consortium that, ideas, just getting those ideas into action. That's basically a lot of the things.
Open to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep us posted on that. Thank you all for being here. Donielle Kitzman, Tia Monson, and Tom Carrigan for joining me in the Pueblo Star Journal podcast studio today. This is State of Art. I'm Bree Pappan, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Receiving down payment assistance from CHAFA allowed us to expand our options for what kind of houses we were looking at.
CHAFA is Colorado's trusted partner for homeownership. Visit chfainfo.com/yourhome. CHAFA is an equal housing lender.